この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I am here for Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam Episode 7. Apologies for missing the episode last week. I was sick and I missed a bunch of things and I caught up on some of them, but this was one of the ones that I didn't catch up on, so apologies, there's just been a week delay. That's alright, we're back to it. Thank you for your patience very much. But 2 weeks ago, when we last watched Zeta Gundam, we watched episode 6, To Earth, and I rewatched most of it, sort of skimmed parts of it, but rewatched most of it this morning to refresh myself because it's been a little while. We started off with the Titans getting some stuff ready, and a little bit of some maybe well-meaning, hard-to-read conflict/flirtation between Lila and Jared. Then on the other side, we had Camille chase a bunch of women around his ship for a while, and overhear some interesting conversations. Specifically, an interesting conversation between Rakoa and Emma Sheen, where they talked about taking care of plants and the fact that Rakoa is going on a mission. And most importantly, as a bit of a quick little sprinkling of a lore dump, there was some incident, and it is an incident that serves for many individuals of the AUG to justify the violence that they produce against the Titans. And it is the Colony 30 incident, where Side 1 Colony 30s, the population had some kind of a rebellion, a peaceful protest, we are told, and then Basque, the bad guy with the goggles, decided to use poison gas and kill a whole lot of people. So that's a thing that happened in the past, and Camille overhears this and is thinking about it, and Emma Sheen didn't know about this, but it's affecting her opinion of the Titans at the moment. She's still in that mode of like, yeah, no, I'm with you, but I'm still considering all these things, right? Okay, great. We returned our attention at that point in the episode to Lila and Jared, who had a fascinating conversation and a little bit of a spat, a little bit of a fight, to some extent, in a hallway, and Jared, we got to talk about Jared. So I really would like it if this were super simple and if Jared could just be a hate sink for me for the rest of the show. And he was just a dumb blonde boy who's a dumb boy, and he does stupid things. And every time he goes into combat, he's like, gosh, I'm so bad. I'm so much worse than Camille at everything. Oh, it'd be so simple if he weren't on a trajectory to be a legitimate and maybe very interesting rival, and potentially a whole person in and of himself. But in that conversation in the hallway with Lila, Jared, after being demeaned by her, and deservedly so, like, she's not out of line too much by telling him how it is, finally reveals his ambition that he would like to lead the Titans one day, and more importantly reveals that he is capable of the deeply important strategic decision of holding back for the present in order to take more effective action in the future. And that's pretty cool. It's like solid, serious character development for Jared. And I'd love to ignore it. I'd love to sit here and just be like, fuck that guy. But I can't in good faith ignore it. The boy is learning, and this is scary. He's not on our side. He's not a good dude. His motivations are muddy and foolish, and potentially the kinds of motivations that bloom into full, like, Giren mode from last season. But I gotta respect it to some extent. He goes on from there into the battle with Lila, and we have this big battle because we set up a really fascinating sequence of events at the end of the episode where Rakoa has to launch. There's a timer and a countdown for clearing the airspace so that she can launch effectively, and they have to clear her path and keep it clear so that she doesn't get shot down, and hopefully none of our other members of our squads get shot down. But during the mission, Jared follows Lila into battle. And he very literally follows. He actually thinks, and he watches, and he observes, and he listens, and he learns. He actually learns some shit. he has a little bit of respect for people who are actually, in reality, in their fighting style, in their abilities, his betters. And Lila tells him some weird ethereal stuff about vibing with where the mechs are in space and stuff. I don't know if that's new type shenanigans or magic or what, but she can do it, and now he's starting to do it, and I'm intrigued by that. The potential that Jared could be an unawakened new type and that that's all a thing, it's possible, but I think Jared, as a Titans member, is not a space noid, so I don't think he is a new type. So, but I don't know. Also, side note, as Rakoa and some bits of debris streaked across the sky, we honed in on a very nice looking pool in front of or behind a very nice looking house, and a familiar figure sitting there chilling, enjoying a drink. Amuro Ray is back in the story. What he's going to be up to and what part he will play, I don't know, and potentially none. Maybe none for a little while, because maybe we won't show what Rakoa gets up to when she's actually on Earth, but I don't know. Oh, also, she, I believe, is going to Jaburo. I believe it was mentioned at some point. Maybe I've just invented it in my brain space, but I'm pretty sure it was mentioned that she was going to Jaburo or Jaburo is important or something. And we've been there before, and we've known some of the people there. We had a big battle there. So that's interesting. And the potential that maybe there are some characters that we might know who might have gone back to Jaburo and might live there. Like, I don't know, Hayato could live there, Frau could live there, who knows, is pretty interesting. Now, moving into the next episode, I don't know what to expect. I do remember a frame of Lila looking like she was potentially nude or just out of the shower, and we've had some cool shower scenes before, so maybe we'll get some more cool shower scenes. I don't know. But here we are. We completed that mission, and we're on to bigger and better things, I suppose. I don't know what to expect, what's coming next, but we are going to watch episode 6 and find out. I don't know why I'm so yawny this morning. I apologize for that. I am going to take a moment and cough and sneeze and stuff and get all that ready, and then I'll come back to beep timer us in. All right. All right, welcome back. That is much better, and we are ready to go for Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam 7. Escape from Side 1. I mean, Side 1, Colony 30. Maybe? I don't know. Shilling. You can check out a bunch of links down in the description. There's a link to my Patreon where you can support me. The month is about to take over, so if you want to get the most of your money, like tomorrow would be the day to sub. Or I guess this video will come out in a week, so whenever you see it. Because the only people who will see it today are going to be the people who are already patrons. That's always weird. But that link is in the description, as well as a link to my second channel where I'm doing Dungeons and Dragons character builds. You can check that out. It's probably fun for some of you, and probably something that most of you totally want to ignore, and that's entirely fine. I'm just branching out and making more things because I enjoy making more things. As well as that, you can find the Instagram and other things and other stuff. Check all those things out if you'd like to. And if you like this video and my other videos, likes and comments and subs help a ton with getting these videos out to all the other people who might like them. So I appreciate your support immensely. Okay, here we are for episode 7 of Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam. I've got it up and ready to go. There will be 2 versions, picture-in-picture in the description, timer on YouTube, and a beep timer to count you down. Let's get straight to it with a pure time. That build of the grass in the background is so sick. Dun, 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 dun. Can't wait to see those kids. I know that that's them. It has to be them, right? Aw. Hello, Earth. It's not a phallic symbol. In that identical pose, they look like the male, like Femshep and Shepherd. Like the male and female versions. No. An unstoppable force with powerful mechas. So she studied it. I love how much more detail is on their faces than on his. Like, he looks like a Simpsons character in comparison. Nani? Hmm. Hmm. Oh, is that so? Interesting that you think that, given that they would give you an immense strategic disadvantage. I'm a pilot now. Sick. Ooh, apples. Been there. Seen that. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. No. Okay. It's just that you're straight useful. Yeah. Well. Yep, back at it. Yeah, and none of them liked it. None of them wanted to be there. Now that makes sense. Everybody dead. Okay, honestly, reasonable and mature. One of the best things that I've been doing over the last year is just saying, I'll think about it to everything. To everything. Reasonably so, I think. That's him. Those lines felt out of order, but okay. Again that idea. That's the second time that same line has come up. So Kai. That's a bit big for your britches, dog. Oh. Yeah, why you? Oh, what a thing to say. Is that why you never got married? It wasn't because what? What? Oh hi, astonage. Whee! Who's that? Oh, well, I fully didn't expect that. What is the face mask for? Keep her makeup on point? Is she just? Oh, I thought she was just gonna walk out full nude because that would be so badass. Yeah. Hello. Oop, up. Awkward. Why are you being nice to me? She said specifically that she wasn't standing up for you. Horny Tommy, no. Oh, okay. Well, there we go. Don't look at me. Oh, that guy looks like he's having a bad day. What the fuck is wrong with your skin, dude? Are you irradiated? Are you becoming a ghoul? Is this Fallout? Are you okay? Are you alright, man? Oh, that's so sick. Oh, that's Emma who's out in the normal suit. Got it. Whee! Hmm. So at least we hope. Oh, the trajectories are the same. Feels sort of sexist that she is the only person in here with a pink suit. Ah. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Whoa. I just got a bad feeling. I don't know why. It is the music mostly, but you know, I don't know if the music is lying or not. Okay. Yeah, lots of focus on really. Oh, you're gonna actually ask her out? Aww, that's almost cute. In like a weird sort of fucked up dommy sense. Not that that's fucked up, but what? Weird. Also, I have a horrible feeling now. That doubled down on it. I feel like that was a death flag. What? What? What a weird set of emotions. That's a really pretty frame of her. There are a bunch of really pretty frames of her. Sweet. Wait, really? He's really He's really flirting real hard? It seems like he's flirting real hard. Why is everybody in romance now? Or is this more of why he brought her in? I don't know. Such mixed signals. That looked like it was gonna clip. Okay. It's like when you see a truck go under an underpass, it's like, that's close. Whee! Wow, those are tiny people on a big. I didn't realize how big that ship was. All right, we're going and exploring the side where the bad things happened. The skeletons in the Titan's closet, you might say. That's where. I don't think it is. I think they're just trying to show it to him. She's gonna go solo? I think she's gonna fucking die. I think she's gonna fucking die. No, I just came to like her. Is this gonna start a new rule where if a character is nude, they just insta-die? That was really cool. The way that they did different, like, parts of her, I don't know how to put it. That was really cool. 11, 20. 20 doorway. All right, this is familiar. It's like Texas. Woof. Oh, woof. With a cat. Oh, wow. Oh, buddy. That was really good. That was really fucked up. Wow. Wow. You want to get your point across real fast? That's a good way to do it. Oh, what are we breathing in? Oh, humans. You know. Good answer. Good answer. Yeah, and she's like, ah, shit, it's real. Ah, shit, it's real. I didn't want to believe. All right, 3 mechs going in, and they're gonna get in undetected. Actually? Oh my god, it's so familiar to Texas. The entry. Oh, wow, that was actually cool. We swapped them out of their suits without actually showing it. That was cool. Or has it all just been left this way? Unclear. Welcome to the truth. Oh, look, a pretty little farmhouse. Yeah. Ah, he's dangerous. Stay down. Stay the fuck down. Stay right where you are. Hands on your head. Stay down. No. Jeez. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Accept the autonomy of the space colonies and keep Earth. Okay, return Earth to nature. So there's an almost religious significance to it as well. That's interesting. Keep those eyes going. Oof. Oh, Camus just wandering? Why did we let him wander? Yeah, he's gonna see it. Awesome. 1-on-1 and a chance to converse, potentially. Hey, who's that? Oh, different. A person. In a normal suit. Whoa. Enraged eyes? But she can't see what he's doing. Oh. Oh. Revealed herself. Interesting. I mean, I'm just a dude. Yeah. Well, my dad. Are you my enemy? Are you my enemy? Are you my enemy? Are you my enemy? That has happened. Oh, shit. Mm-hmm. Different and scary. Yeah, different and scary and powerful, which they are, which they could. It's mutants, right? It's mutants. It's X-Men. It's mutants. Of course. Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, shit. Ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum. There's that art of noise almost. So why do you think he did it then? Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Lila. Whoa. The kicks. True. Smart. Oh my goodness. What a set of interactions. Dekiru hito da. That's a skilled person. Oh, back it up, back it up, back it up. Salamis. Wow. We're going into battle against them. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Full launch sequence now that he's got arms. Full launch sequence now that he's got arms. Oh, sort of. All right, that was cool. I'm down. Oh, zooming. Phew. Where is she? Woof. Right. No, dude, it's the kid. It's not Char, it's the kid. Oh, I love these wides. I love the wides. Yeah, they had so much. Yes, 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 yes. I know it's probably mostly a cost-cutting measure because they're just streaks of light, but I love it. I love it. Oh, hello. So dynamic. Right, now she knows. Will it cause her to hesitate? Will she die because she hesitates? I think she will. Uh, uh, wow, the darkness in Camille's face. Pretty much. Wow, that guy doesn't look good at all. This is correct. He's a kid. He's just a kid. He just killed your fucking officer, though. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, dynamic as fuck. He's worried about her, and he wants her dead. Yeah, you can't care about the people you send into battle. Yeah. It comes back to the bloodied hands thing from before. This lieutenant doesn't know shit. Oh. Just hiding and waiting. What a clever boy. New type powers activate. Nailed it. Will she survive this? Can we capture her? Weird music choice. I love it. It's sort of chaotic. The marimba? Or xylophone. It's one or the other. Wow, that looming face. Zing. She's dead. Ah. I understand. Huh, that's a new name. And Cher just watched it. Oh, we're gonna be fucking real rivals now. Ah! Aw, buddy, your first crush. He's ruined. He's ruined. Yay! You killed a person whose face you've seen. Holy shit. That's an interesting thing to say. Yeah, that's much more meaningful to come from you. Sure you haven't. Bullshit, you want to change, dog. Mmm. Mmm. Bruh. So brutal, Tomino. I think it's gonna be a rule. I don't think you can have your titties out and survive the episode. I don't think it's possible. Holy shit. Ah, we lost Lila. I kind of liked her too. That's the danger here. Is like, of course she's dead because of course she was likable, right? Like the two are not separate; they're one and the same. God fucking damn it, Tomino. Every character that I like. Which means that Char's gonna have to die, but he can't die because he's Char, so. Yeah. Yeah. Man, our, like, named character death toll at this point is so fucking high. It's like almost one per ep. Okay, hold on. I didn't want to see that, but I did anyway. That's fine. So a conversation will occur between Camus and Machine, and Char will exist. Great. I have to avoid taters because that happens. So I'm gonna actually find where that occurs so that I can skip it. So it's like 5:20-ish. So up until then, we're good. Okay. This episode contains a lot of the things that I would consider so far to be like hallmarks of the way that I'm experiencing Zeta Gundam. The fight sequences are a lot faster paced, a lot better choreographed in terms of the way that they feel, and super dynamic in terms of the shot composition and the way that they've decided to make all of the movement happen, usually on like diagonals, which makes it really striking and powerful and cool. As well as I found in this episode, which I haven't noticed before, it could have been happening, but I haven't noticed it, a whole bunch of really wide shots where the Gundams are isolated down, or the mechs are isolated down into just sort of comet-like streaks of light that are darting around a much larger, much more scaled up battlefield. And I found that really cool. I thought it was really good for understanding where they are in space related to each other, and also where they are in space related to the whole side that they're fighting around. I thought it was great. I thought the whole set of interactions on Colony 30 was very interesting, and I thought the design and elements of Colony 30 were just like Texas, which we had the duel in before, but so striking, so much fun. The whole mummy thing is almost hilarious in how almost absurd it is, but it does the job admirably of showing death and destruction in the aftermath of that and showing it to our characters and seeing their responses to it. I think it's really excellently done. Really, really well done for fleshing out that piece of story that we sort of dropped as exposition last episode, and now we get to really flesh out and we get to prove that it's true, which is huge and important, because I had my questions about that. I was like, well, this is probably true, but what if it's not? And then more importantly, characters within the universe had questions about it. And Machine couldn't believe it, and Lila in this episode didn't believe it either until she shows up and she sees what's up, and she realizes that it is fully real. Very fascinating stuff. We also start the episode on Earth, in terms of on showing Earth. So this is like our central point of conflict in a lot of ways, and we talk again about the souls of humans being pulled to Earth, and I've talked about that And people have talked to me in the comments and in the Discord about that concept and about how it, as a like spiritual understanding of the way that people are seeing the world in Gundam, the idea that people are locked into particular ways of being because they are stuck on Earth, their souls are literally pulled to it, is a really interesting one. And the idea that space noids are actually free because of their spaceness. We also see some really interesting stuff when we talk about the revolt or the rally. I keep calling it like a rebellion or a revolt, but of course it wasn't that. Like that would be more understandable if it were crushed by force, but just a rally and using poison gas to off everybody on that colony is fucked up, obviously. And we see only civilian casualties when we show the characters walking around in there. It's people playing cards and drinking and moms and people with cats and dogs, and it's not soldiers dying. It's fucked up. Okay. Ships, and here we are. This is actually a really, I find this frame really hilarious, really funny to me, just because both of them are standing in perfect pose. It's very much like when you see art references for characters and they're always standing in the same way with one hand out and like one hand at their side so that you can see their hand design, and it's like them from the front just like standing like this. And when you see them all for the same show, you'll see like 5 characters in the same exact pose, and it's just weird. It's like that here, or like when you're in a video game and you can choose between a bunch of characters and they're all just standing next to each other, just like. And here you just have boy version and girl version of blonde person. I think it's pretty great. I think it's pretty cool and weird. I do find the fact that she has a pink suit strange, but then there are some really gorgeous this here. Some really gorgeous drawings of both of their faces, specifically of Lila. And I think there's more influence, more effort put into Lila's, but it's a really pretty drawing. And to be clear, I'm not saying that she's really pretty. I do think she is. I do think her character design is lovely. The deep bright pink lips, the bright green eyes create a really nice contrast across her face, and then her features are very fine and very well put together. She's pretty, but it's the art on her that feels pretty. And then we jump over to this guy. We come from here to here, and the quality differential is like look at the fineness of all the lines on Lila's face and the clarity of the color work. And then look at him. He's in like 480p. I mean, they both kind of are, but he's in like 240p. He has no definition. He looks like a Family Guy character. He's just an outline and a couple of features. And then she's like, wow, that's a drawing. That's like a full person. And then that's not. It's just crazy. He does get very expressive over here, and we get that quality coming in. And that's interesting. Okay. She talks about how White Base and the Argama remind her of each other, which is really interesting. And she says explicitly that she's not defending Jared and his failure, which is what this captain officer guy is attacking, but is instead just explaining that this is a serious threat. Like, the problem in all of Mobile Suit Gundam, the first season, is that they underestimated White Base over and over and over and over and over. And it is well defended. It's got a bunch of mobile suits and a bunch of turrets and a bunch of stuff on it. And she's saying that it's the same situation. These are competent fighters, and they are a problem. It is well guarded to attack. In particular, those Gundam Mark IIs look amateurish, and they are, because it's literally an amateur, but they're formidable foes. All right, so we get interrupted. Where are they going? They could be new types, and she expresses this idea. They could be new types, and he expresses, impossible, there is no such thing. His head is so far up his ass. So far up in there, man. Which is part of the problem. The chain of command is fucked because the commanding officers do not recognize the actual, real, existent threat, even when their most competent soldiers tell us about it. Damn. Okay, so we have a talk about potentially making him a real soldier and a real pilot, and he is resistant to this idea. Right, so I'm an experiment. No, it's not an experiment, but this is a military ship. He is resistant to the idea, even though it is presented that the White Base had many crew members his age, and there is a drastic shortage of soldiers, but he chooses to take some time to think this over. Oh, what a great What a great maneuver. What a great move, dude. I've been doing this for a while. So I've always had trouble with how do I put it? I've always had trouble with like being invited to do certain things, right? Like, let's go out to for a party. Are you coming to this thing? Do you want to go to blank? Do you want to XYZ? Invitations to events or things that require an RSVP, that kind of sort of situation. Because when I get asked about the thing, my tendency is to go inside my brain, well, this person will hate me if I say no to this thing that they're so kindly asking me to. This isn't actually what I necessarily think, but it is effectively the way that the thought process works. It's subconscious in the moment, but somebody will ask me something and I'll go, yeah, of course, I'll be there. Sure, cool. And then the time rolls around. I'm like, I really don't want to go to that. Oh no. Oh no. And so there's the problem, which is now I've already said I will. And so either I feel the pressure to follow up and hold true to my word, which is important, and also to not disappoint the other person. But my real inclination is to be like, well, I'd rather stay home and record a video, or I'd rather stay home and do almost literally anything else than get driven or drive an hour away to go to a Thai restaurant for a birthday party. I really couldn't. I don't want to be an hour away from home. I would like to be able to get home immediately, and I'm not going to that. So I've been doing for a while now, at least a few months. Whenever somebody asks me if I'm going to do something, I will tell them, let me check my schedule. Or I'll think about it. And usually they'll be like, it'll be fun, it'll blah, blah, blah. And they'll try to continue the convincing thing. It'll be like, cool, I get it. I'm inclined to say yes to you, but I'm not going to say yes to you. I'm going to say I'm going to check my schedule and I'll think about it. And that's where we'll leave it off for now. And if they get really pushy about it, then it becomes a problem. And it's like, well, okay, now you're being weird and pushy about it. Please stop. Stop it. But usually that just works, and the person's like, all right, cool, check your schedule and get back to me. And I will. And sometimes I'll think about it for a couple days and I'll go, you know what? It is important that I go out of my way to this place, and at least I'll get good Thai food, and it'll be great, and we'll have a good time, and it'll be fine, and I'll make some arrangements so that I don't feel like I'm trapped somewhere that isn't my home, and I don't have a way to get back to my home, which is a terrifying feeling that I don't like very much. Sure, maybe I'll go, or maybe I won't, but the process of saying I'd like some time to think this over, or more deflectorally, or more effective at deflecting continuous pushes, is to say, I'll check my schedule. Maybe I've got some conflicts and I'll have to figure it out. So useful. Such a useful little tip that really changes some particular types of interactions with other people, and I think is very helpful. So I wanted to just shout that out while I had the chance. Okay. I'm very interested in your abilities. Is it right to send a youngster out to war just because you're interested? Good question, but you're being very critical. And these lines feel like they're off, they're weird. There's no way of finding Amuro Ray's whereabouts. And then Camus says, can't you find the new type who piloted the previous Gundam? Shouldn't these lines be out of order, right? Shouldn't it be, can't you find the new type who piloted the previous Gundam? Instead of using me? And then we would say, well, there's no way to find Amuro Ray's whereabouts without by searching the personnel records. And then he would say, that's right. See, it doesn't, all of the lines are fucked. I don't understand this. That's the kind of military the Earth Federation forces is now, okay? And then he says this line again, the souls of the people living on Earth are attracted by its gravity, so they can't fly. So how's my becoming a pilot going to change anything? For one, the souls of Earth's people, shut the fuck up. That's nothing to do with me. I'm a space noid. And he says, do you think so? So will I get... like, the whole conversation is so disconnected. It's like they're talking past each other all the way through. Yeah, why did you become a soldier? And it is a long story, and Char deflects it. It's the only way I know how to make a living. That's why I never got married, and I don't think either of those things is necessarily true. Okay, we see a bunch of homies and peoples. We get some slow-moving Gundams, which is cool. I actually really like this sequence where the tether goes by, and then she goes floating out. And I couldn't tell that it was Emma at this moment, but it is Emma, in fact. And, oh, I just skipped over it. Thank goodness. I don't understand the weird face mask thing. I guess it's just to keep your makeup all fine and dandy. While you get sprayed from all sides by super showers. I want to be sprayed from all sides by super showers. That sounds fun. I don't fully understand what the mask thing is for. Maybe it's because they're in zero G. I don't actually understand it. And I think there's no more nudity at this point, and so this is acceptable. Man, some of these scenes, the like little dance in a weird way that these two characters do around each other. As she opens the door for him and he eventually enters, looks around, sees, notices, looks away. Oh, sorry, Samant, and etc., etc. And then he's pissed at her for standing up against Jamaican for him, which means, of course, that he didn't listen either because she said exactly what she was doing, and she did exactly what she was doing. That said, I do think she was standing up for him against Jamaican, regardless of her protestations that she did not. I think she absolutely was, and she's softer on him than she actually thinks she is. But I want to deal with guys like Jamaican alone. Doesn't sound like you at all. And then at some point she says, don't you fucking look over here. I don't think you were listening to what I was saying, and he's furious in that moment. I was talking to him about the Argama. I wasn't talking about you one bit. I had already heard about new types. Don't you dare look this way. So weird. Weird interaction, but an interesting one. Okay. Skellingtor. What is wrong with this dude? He is fully green. The man has no blood and potentially gangrene? Like, what the fuck is wrong with this man's skin? He also has zero body fat and also mostly no muscles. He's just a bone Nazi? Like, what? Holy shit. Okay, so they're thinking about where they could be going. Really cool image of Emma going by, and the way her eyes blink and then blink larger, right? And her irises are smaller. And so we see the full, right? We see the full white of her eye all the way around. Ding. And it reads so perfectly as someone with surprise, like, oh, right? I guess my eyes are not big enough to get a full white all the way around. I'd have to alter them. I have to really strain to do that. But it reads to us as surprise, right? It's so good. Blink, blink. Huh? So cool. Such a cool little moment. Okay, and then they're thinking about this, and I feel like he's fucking in. Why is everybody horny in this episode? I don't know. Okay, over here, split our fleet, and she says, I want to go do it. I want to hear this whole scene again because I know that the music here had a significant effect on how I felt about this scene. Oh, yeah, okay. Here it is. So, I'm trying to get you killed. All right. Yeah, so that is exactly what I thought it was. Love this scene from her. The anger in her eyes comes in, and she's got this like clench on one side of her arm. She's got like, again, the beefy lipstick lips, which is clenching on one side of the jawline. So good. Fine, I'll leave you in charge, but your main objective will be to meet up with us. Very well, and he fully expects that she is going to do something else and die. I think. I already knew what he would say. I wanted to make it clear to you how I dislike those types of men. As a lesson to you. Lila, date me? Date me. Date me? That feel when no hot Galbaldi GF. And she says, I'll think about it. And he says, thank you. And we have this cute little moment. And she says, if you become a fine man, I can lean on you and drink. Which I think is the direct translation. Yeah. It'll be nice. And the door closes. And then inside, she zooms in on his little doofy little boy face. And she smiles, almost evilly, but not really. Smiles to herself and says, you have what it takes to become that fine man. Aww. 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 It's kind of like, it's weird and it's a little kinky, but, aw, it's cute. And off she goes into, potentially, battle. Alright, let's skip ahead a little bit. You haven't found it yet? Find it. Let's go. Let's do it. And we do, and we arrive at the location. I love this location. Also, I love how, oh my god, the scale is so striking, because this ship looks small, and then the people are tiny, so it's like, wow, that's a big ship. That's cool. All right, off we trot. And their assumption is that there must be an AUG base here, otherwise why would they come? The landscapes are awesome. They're really cool. And what is that? A human mummy. I don't know what they're talking about here. Again, it feels like out of order, because that's not a mummy, that's a newspaper. That's a mummy. Ah! Fuck. Why did it only fall off now? I don't know. But it's great thematically. It's really cool thematically for that. And then mid-roll, like hard, boom, dead people. You're breathing them mid-roll. Everybody, you should probably keep your masks down because you are breathing dead people. So we ask questions back and forth. Why are they not buried? And how can anyone kill people like this? Poignant, important, crucial question for young Camus to ask the one person that he trusts to give him an answer about it, because he's been asking him questions about war this whole time. And Char gives him a dope answer. How can someone kill in great numbers? Because they're not killing with their own hands. A real normal person, any normal person, is capable of killing any other person as long as they don't have to see them. Or inflicting suffering. There are limits on it. The Stanford prison experiment, for example, is grossly misrepresented when it's brought up in media most of the time. But the human capacity for violence, when we don't feel empathy for the person that we see, huge, immense. Again, it makes me think of Westerland in Legend of the Galactic Heroes. The ability to nuke an entire planet and believe that it was the right thing to do. Because they're not killing with their own hands. Because they need not have empathy for the other. If their hands aren't soiled with blood, they don't realize the pain inflicted. And there is almost a tear in Char's eye. I don't know if it's intentional or if it's just meant to be his eyelid, but there's almost wetness there. And we focus on both of their faces. I guess not. And Emma Sheen has a revelation here as well. And she knows that these are the tanks of poisonous gas. And this whole entrance is exactly like Texas, except without the looming shadow sequence. I also really like this moment where they zoom in through and out of frame through this, and then zoom past this corridor, so we just skip them getting out of their mechs really fast. It's really cool. Is the AUG using this colony? And out they go. Hey, you! Hey, you! Hey! Yeah, that's right, get down on the floor! Whoa, don't jump all weird! Don't jump all weird! Stay down! Stay the fuck down! No, this colony remains dead, which means it would be the perfect colony for a secret base, which it's not, but it would be. All right, let's go to the spaceport, get in the thing, and we wander around. You may feel that the AUG was at fault for staging this rally here. Okay. That's the party line that you've been fed, for sure. And then he says, basically, the rally is justified because the people on Earth only think about focusing on Earth, but they're also ruining Earth at the same time, and they're giving no consideration to the space noids, so of course there would be some kinds of rallies. I think these are really interesting. Get the Earth back to nature. Something men go to the space colony? Those who have their souls pulled by lunar gravity fly off to space. Let Space Noid rule the Earth. Down with the federal government of the Earth. Let those who have their souls pulled by lunar gravity fly off to space. Let men go to the space colony. Something, get back to nature. Let the Earth get back to nature. Accept the autonomy of the space colony. Just more of the same. But all they did was appeal to the government that people must limit their aid in assisting Earth's ability to recover. And they should they only appealed that all humans should live in colonies. So humans should leave Earth completely and let Earth recover with limited resources. But why did Bask end up doing this? Why do you think he did this? I have no idea. That's actually very interesting because we still don't have an answer to that question. Is he just a cruel murder monster? Or was it more like Oberstein's decision to bomb Westerland, more about preventing more struggle in the future or destroying our potential revolution in the future? Was there a calculus involved, or was it just cruelty? And we don't know. It's very interesting. Okay, driving around. Really reminds me of the episode where Char and Amuro just sort of like run into each other kind of on the same day. It's sort of a similar weird situation. Okay, vroom vroom. Our setup occurs. She sees him. Fury of some kind in her eyes. There's one. I found one. And yet, her immediate inclination when seeing another person is to go, watch out. Weird. But then to point a gun at him and go, wait, hands up. And he does. Are you an Aug? And she goes up. Oh, you're only a kid. Why are you wearing a pilot suit? Well, long story. The others come looking and she ducks him into a place. If you say one word, I'll kill you. Are you a member of the Titans? No, I'm not. So are we enemies? Maybe not. Why, that's a machine. Well, yeah, this is weird, complicated. Could you happen to be unknown? Blah, blah. They feared, so he answers the question in front of her. Why did he overreact like this? Because the people of the Earth Federation feared the people who had adjusted to their new living environment in outer space, specifically the development of new types. And this brings us straight into, this is the core conflict of X-Men again, right? I brought this up once before, and at least one other time before. This is the core conflict of X-Men. There's a pretty obviously more powerful or otherwise empowered race of genetically altered or mutated humans. And everybody who's not mutated has some degree of fear over them. And then there are factions within that group of mutated humans who, some of them think that they can interact and coexist, and some of them think that they should be rulers. And among the other side, there are people who think that they can coexist, and there are people who think that they're going to try to be rulers. And so there is conflict. They think of new types as some kind of psychics, literally, which they are, right? So I don't understand why this is a point. So they're afraid these new types will someday become the ruling class, literally, which they could and probably should, especially given that we have shown new types have an exceptional power of empathy, and that seems to be a crucial core of what Tomino thinks in his writing or in the creation of these series is important for people. But I don't know. Can people kill for that reason alone? And he looks at her with sad fucking eyes like, oh, you poor child, you sweet summer child. Yeah, for sure they can. For sure. Yeah. I think it's fairly well established that that Cro-Magnon and Homo erectus fully are the reason that the Neanderthal is extinct, right? Multiple articles, one called Neanderthal Extinction by Competitive Exclusion. It was mostly competition with Cro-Magnon populations that led to the extinction of the Neanderthals. Slightly better humans competed better for resources. Previous humans died, or humanoids died. One could argue that it's much more reasonable than fighting over money. Har har. Yes, indeed. Okay. You're lying. Bask would never think of killing so many people for that reason alone. Why not? Why do you trust him? We've never seen any reason for that. Can't you tell by looking around you? And she says the most interesting, twisted, bass-awkward bullshit. It's like when you listen to arguments in modern politics, right? And somebody's like, well, I think maybe people should be paid a living wage and probably have healthcare that isn't privatized and doesn't feed the corporate interests of large conglomerates that own insurance companies. That would be a good idea. Somebody says that. And then the person who's going to debate them says, well, you're just being deceived by the deep state, leftist, liberal media that wants you to believe all those things. And the real way to achieve glory and power for our nation is to, I don't know, buy an SUV and pay for your insurance. Okay. Okay? But you didn't argue against the point. The point is that maybe it would be good for people if people had healthcare and had enough money to survive. And the argument that you made is that my whole perspective is flawed because I've been convinced by some radical group that doesn't exist or that you think exists. It's like, what the fuck? So similarly, we've got, look at the circumstance. There are a bunch of fucking dead people. You can literally see their corpses. They're civilians. They're dead. And you assume that my take on this situation, which is that the person who caused it is probably in the wrong, your take on that is that I think that because I've been deceived by the logic of the remnants of the Zabi clan, who, unbeknownst to her, I straight up killed most of. Like, Char straight up is the killer of most of the Zabi clan. He killed most of them, right? Responsible directly or indirectly for the death of almost all of them, who used to do as they wished with Zeon and don't anymore because of Char. And he hits back with, well, don't you realize that the Earth Federation is becoming the next Zabi clan? Don't you recognize that the political power that you're supporting is becoming the next autocracy? Don't you recognize that they're becoming the next dictatorial, like power via force system? Don't you see that it's the same idea? That we're fighting against that concept? You can't conflate them. How can you possibly conflate them? How could I be aligned with the Zabis when what the Zabis are doing is what I was against, and what the Earth is doing is what the Zabis were doing, and what the Earth is doing is what I'm against? Your logic makes no sense. And also, you're not arguing against my points. There are like hundreds of thousands of dead people on the ground where you're standing. Literally, their dust is in the air and you're breathing it. But your argument is that I've been mentally corrupted by media and like the political inclinations of some different group that literally doesn't exist anymore. That I'm corrupted by the remnant of a political ideology, and that's why it's right for Bascom to have murdered all these people for reasons that you still don't give me a justification for? Lila, you're pretty cool, and you're pretty cute and stuff, and you seem like a good teacher and a good mommy dom, but I don't think your political argumentation logic is very fucking good in this moment, dude. I don't think so. They're trying to keep the Earth to themselves, and she can't listen to it. Throws him, runs away, hops in the Jeep, and zooms. So we all zoom as well. We hop on out into space, and we get ready for our space conflict. This is a cool shot of Camille going through this hallway and down off to the side. There was another doorway shot that I liked. I think it was when she came through a doorway, and I actually wrote down the timestamp. I'm going to skip back to 11:20 for 1 second. She goes to this doorway this way, and then it's here. And it's just the choice of framing on her, like the storyboarding of it. Boom, boom, bam. Yeah. Face, chest, and then skip the whole middle, legs, feet, gone. Really interesting. It just creates an interesting flow. Vup, pop, pop, pop. Vup, pop, pop, pop. Yeah, weird. I just wanted to point that out because I thought it was weird, and I wanted to look at it. So, cool. Chucks the boy. Out to space we go. Hopping in the mech, feels a lot more confident getting into the mech than he did before. As well as that, the mech is all fully painted and it has an arm. I like the launch sequence. I expected a full one, but this is still cool. Voof, pow. So sick. And zooming. So we get all these wides. We set up the location. Some of them coagulate into full mechas and zoom past us. But overall, like when we frame these individual big impact shots, like the big boom, the framing's so good on it. It's so well put together. The characters are all zooming and booming. It's really dynamic and enjoyable. And then we get our lock-in and our conversation. That voice, it's the kid I encountered. Stop the insolent talk. If you're going to fight, I'll shoot. And we get this darkness from Camille. Suddenly he's a soldier. He talked in the earlier part of the episode. Won't be a soldier. Suddenly he's a soldier, and I want to point something out. We are not in a situation where the bloodless conflict applies. We're not in a situation like that. These two human beings have seen each other. They've looked each other in the eye. They've seen each other. They know that that's the other person inside that suit. It's not a nameless, faceless soldier over there. It's Lila and it's Camille. Now, maybe they don't know each other's names at the moment, but they know that's a person, and she knows that it's a child, and he knows that it's a woman. And those are things that affect the calculus psychologically. They are. We're not blind to those things. Humans aren't. And they are fighting. And so when he says, if you fight me, I'll shoot you, he means it. And it's not based on some, I'm just willing to cause violence whenever. It's legit. And she starts thinking, wow, he's strong. What's going on here? But he's just a kid. He's just a kid. And it's unclear whether she's thinking, but he's just a kid. How could he be this strong? Or, but he's just a kid. How could I shoot him? Maybe both. Blam. One of her friends goes down. And then it becomes, there's no way I can lose to this kid. And he starts yelling, Lieutenant, you've lost your cool. You're losing your mind. And Jared is watching, and he's furious. He wants to get in there. And, of course, Jamaican is like, ha, 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 all according to plan. You need to detach your emotions from the situation that's going on. And Camille sits, and he waits, and he watches, and he waits, and he feels the suit coming, and he fires before he can even see it. And it's a perfect shot. And he knocks her out of the fucking sky. Spinning, 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 spinning. Spinning, 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 spinning. Gets straight in front. She goes for the beam sword. And he goes for the beam. Dodges. Fires. And it hits. And she has a revelation. Don't take this guy lightly. He isn't just anyone. And she's thinking about Jared in this last moment. Poof. Shock. And in her last moments of life, she says, I see. I just admitted that this child isn't just anyone. And this realization unconsciously turns into antipathy. For all of our purposes, antipathy is defined as a deep-seated feeling of dislike or aversion. When I recognize that this child is special, is not just anyone, I hate him for it. I misread that at first. So that's what it means to be an old type. It's to see the possibilities of the future and to resent because of it. And Jared watches her die, screams, and sees her image. What were you trying to tell me, Lieutenant? We jump from there to a happy soldier boy who's now a soldier boy. But he does say, I'd rather remain as I am now for a little while longer. And Emma senses something. We move on from there. There's something I want to talk about here. As a real-world circumstance from here. So that's what it means to be an old type. I recognize that this child isn't just anyone, has a special characteristics, and this turns into antipathy, hatred, resentment. I think that this process of growing calcified as a human being and then observing the next generation or the next generation and seeing their changes from our generation, seeing their potential and weighing it against our current locked-in sort of static nature as an older person, as an older human being, and gaining resentment, hatred, even disgust for the younger generation is a near universal process in humanity. The changes aren't genetic or specific, like becoming a new type and, well, the new generation is fucking psychic. That's different. But the changes are there. And I think this is a really dangerous, but also really close to universal process. The fear of the changing future and the disgust and resentment toward the possibilities of the open, newer generation. And I think that it comes up more particularly and far more dangerously in parenthood. And I think it comes up in almost every, at least the possibility of it comes up in almost every parental relationship. It's something that I experienced being on the other side of significantly in my own relationship with my father in particular. And this is something that's always hard for me to talk about, but it is important that I bring it up here. I think that there is a temptation isn't the word because it's not something that you want, but an inclination for parents to come to resent the potential of their children. This seems weird and twisted, but I think I can make it make sense to you. I think we understand pretty well, or a lot of people understand pretty well, that there are a lot of parents who live vicariously through the potential of their children. The parent, peaked in high school, whatever. And so they push their child to be great so that they can experience the greatness of being, the feeling of being great through the child's own greatness. And that's its own kind of fucked up and dangerous, but it's not the kind that I'm thinking about here. The kind that I'm thinking about is where there's a competitive aspect, or a comparative aspect, more importantly. When a parent, in this case, I'm gonna use the term father, but I think it can work either way. When a father sees their child, in this case a son, sees that the child has possibility and has potential, maybe potential that outstrips their parents, and becomes frustrated with that because it shines a light on the parent's own insufficiencies, or more potentially on the fact that the parent maybe had that same potential and squandered it and didn't live up to it. And what happens when that resentment kicks in, if it does, is that the parent, unlike being the unhealthily, vicariously experiencing parent who is pushing their child to success, but for their own goals instead of for the child's own happiness and well-being, the parent actually begins to get in the child's way and resent the child's successes. And it becomes extremely dangerous and extremely potentially traumatizing for the child, and extremely destructive for the parent's mentality as well, because the relationship falls apart completely. It's rough. It's really, really rough. And it's the same concept that is present here in an old type having this revelation and realizing why she feels the way she does about a new type. This kid is special, more special than me, and I fucking hate him for it. It's a really, really bad, dark place to be. And so I bring it up because of the few hundred people that will watch this in the first week, and the maybe hundreds and hundreds of more people who might watch this video in the future. If one of them gets this to sink into their brain, this association between the new type struggle and parenthood, and if that one person becomes a parent, and if that one parent ever has the situation where they see their child succeeding, and they feel jealous or resentful, maybe they'll be able to stop themselves before they ruin a human being's life. And that's of value to me. I think the same sort of thing, but in a different context, happens when you watch friends succeed. I think there are two kinds of people when watching people that they know have great success. There are the people who are like genuinely, nice, good job. And there are the people who go, nice, good job. Fucking asshole. Fucking piece of shit. He didn't deserve that. Those are I think the two types of people when they react to that kind of thing. It's the same sort of feeling. But having that feeling directed toward any child, specifically your own child, deeply destructive, super bad. Don't do it. As someone who's experienced it from the child's side, don't fucking do it. Catch yourself. Watch yourself. Be more like the vicariously living parent who encourages their child, but not too much. Still, it's an interesting thing for me to think about, both in terms of like a broader sociological sense of like generation gaps and watching the development of new individuals and feeling resentment, because it's the sort of feeling of like, back in my day, we had to walk, 10 miles uphill both ways to get to school, that sort of feeling. Kids these days have it so easy, they don't understand, yada, yada. But you don't understand them, so that resentment, and in fact, I'd just say as a blanket statement, resentment isn't useful. It's a really, really destructive emotion. But that resentment toward the successes of others and the potential of others and the hatred for those who have potential beyond your own, it's dangerous. It's very dangerous. And so having a character this early in this show who we like, who I like at least, express that revelation as she fucking dies, I think is really potent and really powerful. And I appreciate its presence in this episode. Cool. Cool episode. Cool fights. Some great lines. The bloody hands. This old type line. This whole sequence. Some cool animation, some great drawings of some good faces. Overall, a striking and enjoyable episode with a classic Tomino murder fest at the end. Good times, terrifying times, shadows of the deep and distant past that isn't terribly distant, where Bascom killed hundreds of thousands of people seemingly on a whim. Very interesting. Very good episode of Zeta Gundam. Okay, I think that's where we're going to wrap for the day. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Zeta Gundam with me, and I hope you've enjoyed some of the discussion. I know I was a little discombobulated there, especially during the episode, and then I think I got a little bit more coherent as the caffeine kicked in toward the discussion portion, but I apologize for that. I'll try to do better every single time, and I will fail all the time, and I hope that you will forgive me. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support. If you like the video, like the video. Comments and subscribes are good too. Particularly comment on any of the stuff that I've talked about during this episode or anything that I haven't talked about that you noticed that you want to bring up. I appreciate those a lot, and I will read them. So thank you so much for your comments and your interaction. Thanks everybody. Happy Thursday. Have a great day and a great rest of your week. I wish you the best. Stay safe. I love you very much, and I will see you next time for Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam. Peace.